Hey, what's up guys? In today's video, we're going to talk about what you can do to remove the huge financial swings from month to month in your restoration company. If you stick around to the end of the video, we're not only going to talk about what causes these things, but I'm going to explain to you what you can do to get rid of them and add the stability back to your business. Now, if you haven't already, go ahead and click the like and subscribe button and do me a favor. Share this video on social media, make a post and tag me in it. Just do @ShaneO'Dazier and it'll let me know, and they'll tag other people so they can see this and the channel can grow, etc. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at what causes this stuff. So let me do a screen share real quick. So one of the biggest problems that you're going to find with the ups and downs is the work that you're doing seasonal? Okay, if the work that you're doing is seasonal, that's going to be one problem. Then by definition, it has to be that season in order for you to be able to do that type of work. Now, I'm not telling you that doing jobs is bad, but I'm telling you if you make money off of seasonal work, that's in your portfolio. By definition, if it's not the right season, that revenue won't be there. So what you want to do, or what we're going to do by the end of this video, is figure out how to build your business around work that is not seasonal. Okay, and it takes a little more effort and a little more energy, but it can be done, and that's what you should do. So what's an example of seasonal stuff? For instance, heavy rains. There's a flood season, there's a rainy season, and during that season, you're going to be much more likely to get calls for flash floods or to get calls for rain, or even roof leaks. Roof leaks are going to occur more during a rainy season. Does that mean that you don't want to do those jobs? No, not necessarily. But again, we're going to go back to I'm pointing out to you why those jobs are here and why they're seasonal. So that's an example of seasonal water jobs. What's another example of a seasonal job? Fire. So fire has a season too. And it doesn't mean there can't be fires all year round. There can be, but there's still a fire season. The fire season is going to be when your space heaters come out. And so the same way that you're going to also have a smoke season whenever you've got, well, at least out west, they've probably got they've got an annual fire season out west, but we're referring to events or things that might happen as a result to the season of year. And that's going to be more like when people are cooking Thanksgiving dinners. You got a bunch of people trying to cook for family in town. They're going to destroy the dinner and they're going to smoke up the house. That can be an example of a seasonal smoke job or a seasonal fire job because of the space heaters, okay? So those are your two examples of your seasonality stuff for water or for fire. Now, let's get back into storms. This is going to go back into events. So an event-based product is going to be something more like your heavy thunderstorms. Did you have the hailstorm that you had from 2015? Yes or no? Every now and then you're going to find that there's going to be these large catastrophic events that come to town. They're not seasonal because they don't happen every year, but they're still big events and they're weather-related events. So if you're getting work from those, that's going to be a big problem. A lot of guys, and really even me included in the early days, if we got a big deep freeze that maybe occurs once every 5 to 15 years, you can't count that revenue for next year because it ain't coming back, dude. Okay, so you want to build your business around the stuff that is not seasonal and not around events. Seasonal is going to happen every year, but I would want to remove the events from my business first and remove the seasonal activity from my business second. Okay, the seasonal stuff you can keep in there if you wanted to is overflow work, but it needs to be based on overflow only. I would definitely get rid of the event stuff. Why? Because storm chasers are going to be chasing tornadoes and hurricanes and hail. You're gonna have to deal with that anyway. There's a lot of competition to those time of years, and it's hard. And not when a tornado blows through town, you've got 12 to 20 arborists in any decent sized town or a good sized town, right? Even in a town the size of Nashville, over 1 million people, there's 400 trees that are on houses, and there's 14 arborists in town. So it's just going to be a big mess. All right. So you want to get rid of the events. All right. So let's back on up a little bit. Now, the next thing that you're going to want to ask yourself is this: what are your outlier jobs? Okay. And this is going to go back to removing the financial swing. We've already talked about is it the right season? If it's not the right season, they're not going to be here. And then if the event doesn't come, you're going to be without the revenue. Well, what's the next thing you can do? You need to get rid of your outlier jobs. What do you mean by that, Shane? Well, let's dial on into this thing. We're talking about your commercial water jobs, your fire, and your reconstruction jobs. I'm not telling you that you can't do those. I'm telling you why they are leading to big ebb and flows in your financial numbers. When you do a commercial water loss that's worth $100,000 or $200,000, that's a lot of money. What happens if you didn't get that phone call? Like, how did you get that call? Did it come from Google? Did it get referred to you? What if you bobbled that job? That one phone call leads to $200,000. If you miss 3 phone calls, by that definition, you can miss out on over $500,000 of revenue. All right. So what I would want to tell you by this is you want to get rid of the commercial water jobs and you want to replace the $80,000 jobs with the $8,000 jobs. Okay. Same thing with fire. Your fire jobs, they can be a $5,000 or $10,000 small fire, just smoked up a little bit of a kitchen. Okay. Or it could be a freaking total loss on a $5 million property. Which one is it? And when you do fire jobs, you're going to have this level of volatility in your business. Okay. You may get 5 fire jobs this year. You may have got 5 fire jobs last year. In one case, you made $80,000 on 5 jobs. In the other case, you made $800,000 on 1 job. Okay. The numbers are going to lead you to believe that you're something that you're not. And that's going to lead to the unpredictability in your business. Also with reconstruction. The other problem with reconstruction is this. Most people just aren't very good at it. They think they are and they're really not. I come to you as a general contractor by trade. That's where I cut my teeth. And then I got into remodeling. I was very familiar with what that was. If you're in restoration and you're a mitigation guy and you're trying to get into construction, like construction is different than reconstruction. Okay. Construction and remodeling, they wanted you. That's why they called you. Okay. They didn't want that pipe to break. They weren't sitting around wondering, hey, what can we do to remodel our kitchen and turn our lives upside down during the months of November and December? Okay. It's a very inconvenient thing for them. So they're not wanting it and it happens anyway. And then you get tied in the mix. And the next thing you know, you're not profitable with the reconstruction jobs. You may not get paid on the reconstruction job. The insurance adjuster may whittle down your bill. There's a lot of volatility in the reconstruction. And again, some recon jobs are $5,000 or $10,000. Some of them are $150,000. You want to remove the really big outliers from your mix. Why? Because they're outliers. And if you don't get them, that's a big problem. And even worse than that, most people remain profitable on any type of water job, whether it's commercial or residential. That is not true for reconstruction. It's true for fire too. If you do the fire job and you do a decent job, like there's going to be way more profit in those 2 job types than there is in reconstruction. You got to be much better at reconstruction than anything else, and most people are not, and they just do it, and it's just dumb. Okay, so you want to get rid of the outlier jobs. Okay, so how do you protect yourself from the seasonal events? Well, you need to focus, and we talked on this a minute ago. You want to remove and replace the $80,000 jobs for the $8,000 jobs. So you need to ask yourself, where are we getting $80,000 jobs? From commercial water jobs, from fires, and recon. This may seem counterintuitive to you, saying, well, Shane, why would I want to throw revenue away? Because the revenue is a very volatile source of revenue. And I can tell you this, once you get rid of that job type, dude, you're not going to sit around and starve. You're going to work your butt off and replace that revenue. You're going to find some other ways to get that revenue. If you're cleaning carpets, you're going to clean carpets. If you're doing water mitts, you're going to find a way to get some more water. Okay. And that'll get to that in a minute. But I'm telling you this, if you remain to be okay with taking those large jobs, you're always going to keep getting those large jobs. And the problem is going to be everything that we just talked about. What happens when you stop answering the phone and you give it to somebody on your team? That's one of the biggest things that the owner faces. In year 1 and year 2, when the owner is involved in the business, like they're going to be much more profitable. Year 3, they'll see a dip down. Why? Because they're trying to scale their business. They're putting people in different roles, and they're letting go of certain roles that they should not let go of yet because they don't have it dialed in. Ask me how I know. Okay. So you want to be able to replace the $80,000 jobs with the $8,000 jobs, and you want to remove the jobs that are not common. In other words, replace the seasonal work for the stuff that happens all the time. So you want to go from events to seasonal to regularity. Okay. How do you do that? We'll get into that in a minute, okay? But you need to focus. You've got to focus. If you don't remain focused on this, you're not gonna do it, okay? Step one is to get focused on it. So how do you protect yourself from the seasonal events? We talked about that. Let's look at the referral sources. Insurance agents. What type of work can you get from insurance agents? You can get storm work. You can get flood work, right? What type of work can you get from the agent? Every time that agent's phone rings, your phone's gonna ring, okay? And here's one of the things. You're gonna get a lot of the seasonal and a lot of the event stuff. And the problem with doing work for agents is if you've got a decent relationship in place, the first tornado that blows through town, if you don't respond for every one of their customers, they're gonna throw your ass under the bus, straight up. They don't give a crap about you. They're not paying attention. Like, it's all about them, okay? They're divas. I'm just gonna tell you, they are divas. And so you're gonna deal with that. Now, conversely, if you wanna get in the bed with insurance agents, that's a good time to do it because everybody else has been making promises, it's pissed them off during that time. So that's the time you wanna go get in with agents. But I'm just gonna tell you, look at where you're getting your jobs from. If you're getting jobs from your agents, you're gonna get the seasonal jobs and you're gonna get the events. Now, property managers. What are you gonna get from property managers? Commercial jobs. You're not gonna get residential jobs, you're gonna get commercial jobs from property managers. Why is that an issue? Because those are gonna be the larger jobs, okay? Those are gonna be back to doing the really big ones. And worse off, property managers will burn you, dude. They will burn you. You are not their client. The owner of that HOA or the owner of that property is their client. And you, my friend, are a sacrificial lamb. And if you don't believe me, just wait until a scenario pops up to where y'all's interests don't align and you will be roasted at the stake. Property managers are not good referral partners. I don't care what anybody says. You can make money off them, but I am telling you, it's only a matter of time before you get burned. It's only a matter of time before you get burned, okay? So agents, you're gonna get all kinds of mixed bag stuff from seasonal and events. Property managers, you're gonna wind up getting a lot of the larger commercial stuff. And I didn't put the internet. So let's take a look at the internet. What type of work do you get from the internet? It is a mixed bag. You're gonna get a lot of residential jobs, but the biggest issue with the internet is you're also gonna get some big commercial jobs from the internet. Like some of the biggest ones are all gonna go through Google. And so I'll do another video on that. If you want more videos on that, drop a comment on anything you want, okay? But Google will be a great source for commercial work. But again, I'm gonna go back to this. The commercial work is gonna be big up and down. You really want to build your business on the repeatable process. This needs to be like baking cookies, okay? Like delivering pizzas, all right? This doesn't need to be like a 7-course meal. You wanna turn your restoration company into Domino's Pizza, and you really only wanna offer one pizza, and that's gonna be like a pepperoni pizza, okay? Straight up, that's it. The more simple it is, the more ready for scale it is, okay? But the internet, the biggest issue is you're gonna get commercial work, and the hardest thing in commercial work is just getting paid. I'm just gonna be honest with you. It's getting paid. You gotta get the right person to sign your contract. It's really risky, and it's great work if you can get paid. That's what they say about government work too, right? It's good work if you can get it. The problem with all of those types of work is you get lazy once you start getting that revenue. You don't keep hustling for your company, and the next thing you know, you're getting soft, fat, and lazy, and a younger version of yourself comes and kicks your butt, okay? So that covers agents, that covers property managers, that covers the internet. So let's look at the last piece, plumbers. What type of jobs would you get from plumbers? I'm not saying I've got an agenda, I'm just gonna tell you straight up. When you work with plumbers, who calls the plumber? A homeowner, okay? On a commercial building, plumbers are not your best referral source. It's gonna be the internet, it's gonna be property managers, okay? A hotel in the middle of the night, they're gonna go to Google to get it dried up. Like they've already got an engineer on staff that's gonna fix that plumbing issue, okay? Like they've got engineers on staff, they're gonna handle that. And even in your large commercial jobs, the property manager is gonna get the call, they're gonna call the plumber, the property manager will be the one to call the restoration company, right? And again, even if you do get a call from a commercial plumber, they don't know the owner of the building, and they will probably know the property manager, that's who called them. But by the time you get the property manager's name from that plumber, property manager's already got Serpro on the way, okay? They've already got Belfour on the way out there, you're out of the mix. So your work for plumbers, it's gonna be residential. That's gonna be the key, okay? Who calls a residential plumber? The owner of the property, and that's what you want. That's how you're going to get to the $8,000 clean Cat 1 water mitts where you can be in and out in 5 days and be a freaking hero. So let's put a bow on this. What can you do? And let me zoom back out. You want to remove the events from your business, okay? Your big storm work. Then you want to be able to replace that seasonality with the stuff that happens over and over and over again, which leads us back to plumber, guys. Every time a plumbing valve is made, there's an expiration date on that valve. The minute that God popped that thing out of the heavens and they shipped it to Lowe's or Home Depot, there was a day that that thing is going to go bad, and that is going to happen. Every single mechanical connection in plumbing eventually fails, okay? And it happens like clockwork. It's not based on the weather. It's not based on the season. It happens all day, every day. Somewhere right now, there's a leak that's going bad. Okay, it didn't leak a minute ago and it's leaking now. Why? Because God said, I want that thing to start raining, and it's going to happen. And so that's the reason why I love plumbers, guys. It does take more effort to build your business because you have to walk past the $100 bills to go back to the 20s, right? You got to walk past the big jobs to go pick up that solid front end money. But I'm telling you, when you build your business around that, you are building an unsinkable ship, guys, because you no longer have the big, huge outliers where you miss 3 or 4 phone calls and it equates to $400,000, $500,000, $600,000. Like, if you really think about that, when you do commercial work and fire work, literally 2 or 3 calls can equate to $300,000 or $400,000. How would you like to miss 3 phone calls and erase $500,000 of revenue from your company? Not a good proposition. Not a good proposition. But if you miss 3 phone calls in residential, you're going to lose $24,000. Dude, that's freaking front pocket money when you've got a multi-million-dollar mitigation residential retail business. Okay, so hopefully it's helpful for you guys. If you want to know more about building a business around plumbers, go to workwithshane.com and you can fill out an application and we can hop on the phone and talk. But guys, the reason why I'm so heavy, so all in on plumbers is this, because that is the most repeatable, scalable way to build your business. It is simply the most repeatable, scalable way to build your business. If you want to get rid of the ebbs and flows, you've got to get rid of the events, the seasonality, and the outlier jobs first. There are additional things that you can do, like recurring revenue, to add into your business, and we can talk more about that. But that's going to be like step 4. Step 1 through 3 is to get rid of the outliers, the events, and the seasonality. Okay, hopefully you guys found this helpful. Go ahead and share this on social media and tag me in it. We'll catch you guys in the next one.